Good morning. We're live from Clovis, the new ICP location. We are streaming live to two other locations, China Camp and also the new established Sierra Camp, which is the old ICP at Sierra High School. Good morning. If you would turn down your cell phones, and we are practicing COVID-19 CDC guidelines. So if you're out there in one of the camps, you should be standing on an orange dot practicing social distancing. Thank you for that. My name's Rick Luke, Planning Section Chief, California Incident Management Team 5. Our incident commander is Rick Young. And a reminder, we are in still unified command with CAL FIRE and a few other folks. So with that said, I got a few announcements. Current acreage is 309,033, 44% containment, and 1,919 currently people serving on the fire. And with that, we're going to go ahead and give you a situational update.
All right. Good morning, everybody. Don Fraguglia, Planning Ops, here on the Creek Fire South Zone with your operational update. We'll start here at the zone break this morning. Everything on the south end of the fire is looking really good. Quiet night last night, not much to report in that area. Some patrolling going on and no calls for service last night. So we were able to add a little bit of black on the map after the good work of night shift last night. So all contained down along the bottom, moving west along Shaver Lake. Same story, quiet night all the way across this bottom portion of the fire. Moving on into the China Peak area, we continue to mop up and patrol in here. Just a lot of heavy mop up and a lot of granite, a lot of rough country up in there. So hard to work at night, but they had a good night there last night. It was quiet. Moving up into Huntington Lake and Division Papa, the fire was quiet there last night. Really of highlight last night was that they did get more burning done. They're right here in this area where they got Kaiser Pass Road towards the 05 road. So they burned until about 1 o'clock in the morning there last night, and it all pulled in. Looks good. Be good to hold that in there today for the day. Otherwise, the fire was quiet last night. Have a good shift today.
Thank you, Don. Weather.
Good morning, Mark Pellerito, IMET. So yes, still hot, still dry, still terrain-driven winds. October's beginning just like September ended. And you'll see a few gusts into the teens, but mostly everything pretty light and terrain-driven, upslope, up valley by day, downslope, down canyon by night. What has subtly changed and is worth knowing is that the inversion, now that the high pressure heat wave is getting very mature, is you have sinking motion above that inversion, and it's sinking the elevation of that inversion. By night, it's sinking it pretty low, exposing the mid slopes to some very dry air. You got some thermal belts. Now, if you get into a deep drainage, it's very chilly. I'm sure the camp at China Camp in the parking lot's pretty cold, maybe even in the 40s for temperatures right now. Dinky Ross is the same thing, and so the RH is not as low. But you get just a little bit off those valley floors. And those mid slopes right now are already in the teens RH to low 20s. So that's the head start that we have, and it'll continue to dip. I would not rule out seeing a couple single-digit RH today on the ridges with teens across the rest of the fire. Temperatures will be 90s down low, 80s for much of the fire zone, and then the higher elevations in the 70s. With this inversion lowering, and then today it's going to try to raise back up during the heating, it won't go as high as yesterday. It's only going to get to about 7,000 feet. If you picture this as a bathtub that's being filled, that's less room in that bathtub for all the smoke to be trapped in, and so the smoke will be extra hard to mix out for today. You get above that, like right now, actually, up high, it's some pretty clear air. The smoke will try to make a run at you, but I think the ridges are going to remain exposed to that clean and unstable air at the top. So most of the fire zone going to be kind of stable, but if you get access to that above inversion air, it'll be unstable and freely mixing. So that's something to be aware of for today. Looking ahead the next couple of days, more of the same. So pay attention to what's going on in your piece of ground today, and you can expect the same tonight, tomorrow, and the next day.
Thank you, Mark. Next, we have fire behavior with Jeff Shelton.
Good morning. Jeff Shelton, Team 5 Fire Behavior. So the calendar says it's October, but the fuels out there are just ignoring that. What we're looking at is all the indices of fire danger that we look at to kind of track what has happened in the past to now are all identical to when this fire stood up and made a big run almost a month ago. The ERCs and the burning index, they're all pegged right now. The words I'm giving the team for the guidance are words like receptive and available and primed, vulnerable. So your fuels are ready. The only trigger that we're missing on the fire ground is that ventilation, that instability aspect that made this fire really get up and romp. But the fuels don't know any different. They're just sitting there and they're ready in the same state. So really, to get that ventilation piece, you heard from the IMET, you're going to have kind of a two-fire scenario here. Below the inversion, where that air is not really moving around a lot, but above it, you're going to have some free-moving air. And above it, where it's free-moving, it's very dry, exceptionally dry. And so it's going to be really important for you to watch where your fire is and watch your visibility. If you're looking around and you can see really well, you're in an area that the air is going to be moving around. And as fire activity picks up, you can expect fire to start moving with authority to continue to move across the landscape. With this very dry air, we're looking at probabilities of ignition of 60% in the shaded areas and 90% in the unshaded areas. What that means is every piece of rollout in this steep terrain that finds receptive fuel is going to start. So you got to kind of game that out, especially in these areas where the fire footprint is maintaining a fairly static position, but the fuels are consuming completely. The burning period, usually with the shorter daylight hours that we have, the burn period should be shortening. But with the dryness that we have out there right now, the burn period has been extended. They had really good burning up till like 1 o'clock in the morning last night. They probably could have continued. But expect the fire to be continually moving across the landscape for 24/7 at this point. What I'm looking at is like a moderate to intense surface fire until it finds alignment. When that fire finds alignment, it can climb up into the crowns. Where we're looking above that line where the free air is going to be, a lot of the bug kill in there is still in kind of a red phase, meaning you have all this material hanging over your head, and people think, oh, this big red phase tree is 1,000-hour fuel. No, all those little needles are all 1-hour fuel, and it's all hanging above your head. So any torching that you have out there has to be respected. Stop, take a look, see where it is, and see where it's going. Leave yourself, I'm going to tell you the last part here, leave yourself more margin than you have been leaving in the last week or so. Because of the fuels, you have to have more than just one plan. Expand your margin of error to be able to engage safely. Have a safe shift. Thanks.
Thank you, Jeff. Operational assignments with John Goss.
Okay, good morning, folks. John Goss, Planning Ops Trainee. So roll call, work assignments, and priorities for the day. Day operations will be Alex McBath and Shannon Prather as trainee. Night Ops, Steve Burns. Planning Ops for the day, Don Frigulia. And Chris Stevens, who is answering up as the China Planning Ops, and myself as a trainee. Moving over to Branch 20, we've got Ernie Villa. Division November, Vic LaFour. Division Papa, Jimmy Hidalgo. Division Romeo, we got Kim Olson with the trainee of Cody Allen. And we have Night November Papa Romeo as Jesse Knox. Moving down the hill, Branch 25 and 29, Bontrager. Sierra Union, Lowry. Victor Whiskey, Stevens. X-Ray Zulu, Fernandez. And suppression repair, have Clint Wade and trainee Borello. Okay, so work assignments for the day. And we'll start up in Branch 20 once again there. So Division November, again, a couple of things they've got going up in November. So the structure prep and plan continues. Mona Hot Springs, Florence Lake, John Muir Ranch, as well as holding the firing operation there on the Kaiser Pass Road. The spots that we had from a couple days ago are still holding, still secure. So their goal still is to hold that Kaiser Pass Road. They got a good place last night that they checked the fire up in a rock scree because they're waiting for Papa to do some more prep work on the 05 or the Stump Springs Road. So moving over to Papa there. So a couple things Papa's doing is to continue to prep the 05 road for eventual burnout operation. Also establishing that line off Sample Meadow up into the Kaiser Wilderness to provide a good strong anchor point to also burn out operations there eventually. And moving over to the last piece of Papa on the bottom of the horseshoe there, that line that was established 2 days ago continues to hold. So their main goal there with the crews there is to get in there and make sure that that line stays in place. Moving to Division Romeo, piece above China Peak there, this top right corner there, that's where their focus will be today, is to continue to hold that and secure that so that doesn't give us any future problems there. Moving down into branch 25 and 29, again, all the work assignments remain the same. They are in holding the line, mopping up, and still continue to pull some of that hose off the bottom there. And just a late addition there, we do have some black right down there in Whiskey now as well. So that kind of finishes off that southern portion of our zone. And then suppression repair today. They're still in the Shaver Lake area, so Shaver East, Shaver Springs, the Vincent Fuel Break, which is the upper edge of Blue Canyon. So the suppression repair work will continue kind of in the lower portion there of branch 25 and 29. Okay, so priorities for today. Romeo, again, that top piece above China Peak, that's our number one priority for the day. Second priority is in Papa. So holding that line up into the Kaiser Wilderness on both sides of the horseshoe there. And then the last priority for the day is Division November, holding Kaiser Pass Road and finishing up that structure assessment. Air operations today, we're going to have 2 Type 1s, 5 Type 2 helicopters, and 2 Type 3s. And then air attack will be ready to go once requested. Have a good shift.
Thank you, John. The incident objectives for the Creek Fire have not changed. The management objectives and the control objectives remain the same. Next, we have Brian Savage with safety.
Hey, good morning, Brian Savage, Team 5 Safety. Last night at midnight, we had a water tender rollover on the west end of the Kaiser Pass Road. Minor injuries. The water tender is still out there upside down, so all traffic on Kaiser Pass Road is now restricted until further notice, and that's till for essential traffic only until that water tender is removed. Also, logging is starting back up on the south side of Shaver Lake, so increased logging traffic up and down Shaver Lake to Shaver Lake on 168, so be heads up for that. At 1700 hours today, PG&E is going to start some re-energizing of equipment and poles. They're starting in Division Whiskey. It should just be in Division Whiskey today. They're starting at Alder Springs, working east and southeast, and they should be finished up around 2000. And we'll be letting folks know on the radio when that's occurring and when that's finished. And that's all I have. Thanks.
Thank you from safety. Communications.
Ken Earl Communications. Today we have a new repeater going up on Mammoth. To make that one work, we have to get a hub repeater over to Shut-Eye. In order to make that happen, we've asked Operations South to reach out to Operations North and see if there's any possibility of snagging that road out to Shut-Eye. The reason we're doing that, that's the key to our system, and the smoke has caused air to be unreliable, although we are also sending a group out to the helibase to see if they can get up to Shut-Eye today via air. That does mean that there will be a clone coming up shortly. I'll try to get that in place before we lose a lot of our staff, which is coming up on Sunday. So you're probably looking at Friday and Saturday for a clone, even if we can't go live with the extra command. And I'll be folding one division in with another to share tax. That's all I have. Thank you.
Thank you. Next, we got medical with Jeff Carroll.
Good morning, Jeff Carlin Medical. So as you heard from safety, we had a vehicle rollover early this morning. I got to give a thanks out to Night Ops, Night Division. it just shows that having a good plan in place really makes things set up for success. So continue to make sure that plan is in place, and hopefully they'll all end up with good successes. We started to get some people in, got some this morning. So on Division Papa, there's a change. You're going to have EMT Baker and Arnell for EMTs, as well as Heckman as a paramedic for Papa. On that, have a safe shift, and I'll see you tonight.
Thank you, Jeff. A few notes. Finance would like you to review page 29, and we also have information on page 38. Agency comments.
Good morning, Kim Serini Wilson, Agency Administrator Trainee. I just want to thank everybody for all your hard work and continued hard work for the fire. A couple other things is Fish and Wildlife reached out to me to let me know that they're having more bear activity in Shaver due to garbage. So between firefighters and people and everything, if you can bag up your garbage and bring it down the hill when you get there or get it to a dumpster, that would be great. And then a couple days out, beginning Saturday and Sunday, we will be letting people in through our process, if you've heard it, for folks to come and get all of their things that when they were evacuated from either camping or their cabins. And so that will be a very busy time this Saturday and Sunday. But we will keep reminding you, but we just want to make you aware of it. And then one other thing, there will be cattle permittees that are coming in beginning Friday for east of Huntington and west of Huntington, and that's been coordinated throughout the team, and so I just want to make you guys aware of that. With that, have a great shift. Thank you.
Thank you. Our closing comments, our Deputy Incident Commander, Carlton Joseph.
Good morning. Just a couple of things you heard already this morning, that we have had a change of venue. Our ICP is now located down in Clovis. We made the move yesterday from Sierra High School as they look to open that back up, and that's a good thing for the community. That being said, we do have 2 camps in place. We continue to support the CAL FIRE effort with their suppression rehab and continued patrol throughout the Branch 2529 area, all the south and west area. We also have China Peak Camp in place to support the federal effort up on the east side. So that we'll move on to a message I wanted to hit on this morning, and that revolves around personal responsibility and safety. Personal responsibility on this incident means, first and foremost, that we maintain readiness to come to work each day. One of the things that's important to understand is that there is a drug and alcohol policy in place, and that means 0 tolerance for the use of drugs and alcohol. If in fact you find yourself engaged in that on this incident, you'll find a quick ticket home with most likely a letter to follow, probably a position you don't want to find yourself in. I just wanted to remind you of that. It's important that we're ready to go out there and be safe each day, and part of that is driving safely. We think about this water tender accident last night, and you think, well, how'd that happen? That never happened to me. Well, it happened to somebody last night, so it could happen to you. And those things do happen very quickly. We are still in unified command with CAL FIRE. We'll continue to do so for quite some time. On top of that, I just want to say thank you for your efforts out there each and every day. Make sure you give yourself a kudos for that. Talk to your crew. Spend some time with them this morning before you get to work. Thank you.
Just a few more messages before we conclude this meeting. On page 40 and 41, mainly for the China Camp, there's a demob list there. So that's where you will start your demob process up at China Camp. If you're on that list, you just report to the situation unit leader up there who's in the copy center there, and his name is Frank Baker. Make contact with him and start your demob process there. And okay, unassigned resources, if you find yourself unassigned in either one of the camps, go to the respective breakout area that's for unassigned resources and get an assignment. Our next operational briefing is at the respective camps, and then here again, 0700 tomorrow. And we're going to try streaming our planning meeting the same venue at 1700 hours. And we have a 10 o'clock cooperators meeting here in this room, in this building. And enjoy your day and be safe. Don't forget to turn your radios and cell phones back on. Thank you.